I've got what you could call a riddle to start us off. There's a game of rugby league being played. One team kicks the ball off, they scoop it up, they score a try, and the ref blows full time and awards them the Premiership. This was to kick off the match, only 10 seconds have elapsed. How is this possible?
Well, I know the answer, so I won't spoil. I'll give Carlin a guess.
Wait, so it's like it kicks off and then ends and they win.
Yeah, a team kicks off, they grab the ball, they run over and score a try, and then the ref blows the whistle and they win the Premiership.
I feel like it's like sort of restart the game, do this, naughty, you've done something or something. So the other team's like, all right, we'll let them do it. I don't know.
What if I told you it was because the other team...
Oh, I don't get a guess?
You said you know the answer.
Yeah, but I still should have a guess. The
Well,
horse was named Friday.
No, the doctor is a woman is the correct answer.
Your father's brother is your uncle.
The answer is that there was only one team on the field that day.
Oh, it could have been like in the... which one in the Christopher Nolan Batman? The one where Bane blows up the field and there's one...
the guy's running along as it's falling apart.
Returner then scores
Yeah,
and
like
the game's
that.
over and they win.
Then the game was abandoned.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so they win.
I don't know if they actually ever said that game was completed because the city was taken over by a terrorist organization.
So therefore it never ended either.
The
Leaving
Gotham
it in this
Rogues
limbo
got the win.
state. It's like Schrodinger's football game.
They were actually the Pittsburgh Steelers. There's a little bit of movie trivia for you.
There you go.
Well, I've got some other sports, not trivia, but facts today that I'll be telling you. I'm going to tell the story of the 1909 NRL Grand Final, the only Grand Final in Australian sports history to be played by one team. Hello and welcome to the Wild World of Sport, the podcast where three friends sit down, crack a couple beers, and go on a journey to try and find the wildest story from the world of sport. My name is James Wybrow. I am the NRL commissioner.
The bunker.
The bunker.
Because you're reviewing the...
Yeah, I'm the... People don't like the bunker though.
Yeah, but that's
We don't like you.
Oh, wow. Please get in the comments so you like me. All right, I'm the bunker of today's episode, so I'm going to take a really long time to tell the story and get it wrong.
Excellent.
I'm Lord Ben Wybrow, no relation.
I am,
Yeah, with a royal theme.
Yeah, I was going to mention that, but it's like, then I was thinking about how you mentioned comments, and I was thinking about that one comment. I'm like, I don't know how, should I be putting royal in front of my name? I'm Carlin for now. I'll be safe. But
No, I
do you want to read out these comments? I'll chuck them
you-
across.
You know the thing where you buy like $5 a land in Scotland or Wales and then you get the title of Lord because of your own land?
Didn't they get a lawsuit? Like, that's like not real.
Yeah,
I
it's just
swear I
a
got
scam.
it as a gift years ago.
Yeah, but it's like sort of a scam, but it's sort of like, it's a cheap gift to get
Well,
someone.
if the musician can call herself Lord, I can call myself
Yeah.
Lord. If
Well-
Prince can call himself Prince and spell it with a 7, I can just put it in front of my name.
But then he was the artist formerly known as Prince.
After the royal debacle.
Well, then I can be the podcaster formerly known as Lord.
Yeah?
Well, our resident lawyer Steve, has written into the show and told us to remember while it's not illegal specifically to call yourself royal, it does require official permission and is highly restricted, so it
Okay.
is not advised.
See, now thinking about that, I was concerned about what Steve said, but could we not start our own royal family? Why? So what gives like a particular royal family the authority to do this?
Centuries of inbreeding.
Well,
And let us know if you want us to keep calling ourselves Royal Wild World of Sport, and then send us money to fund the lawsuit that will eventually come from that.
let us know if you think we're at risk of going into a tunnel in our cars and disappearing forever.
Oh, no. Oh, we are not at risk, though, of a lawsuit from our best friend's favourite sponsor, To All My Friends Bar at Cook Shops. They are, again, one of the best bars in all of Canberra. We've got some more beers from them today. Carlin's showing it to the camera. Make sure you go onto YouTube. You can check out what we are drinking. I've got the Bridge Road Rice Lager today that Tampa's supplied for us. Fantastic beers, fantastic pizzas, fantastic locations. So make sure you go there, check them out. And then don't forget to check out Wild World of Sport Pod on all of the socials, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube. Getting some comments from... Yeah, Audible, yeah. Getting reviews there, getting comments on YouTube about people that know us. And then 5 stars on Audible, on Spotify, on Apple, on everywhere that you're listening to the show, and tell 12 of your acquaintances. Not your friends, just your acquaintances. People you see in the street, just walk up to them. Tell
When
them.
you go to any restaurant or anything that have like the TVs that then like show the menu and things, just open your Bluetooth and see if you can connect to them, and then just put the pod on.
Or just, turn your phone up really loud and you can just put it there.
Yeah, be one of those people.
Yeah.
Where you just got your phone on speaker all the time when you're on the phone, or playing your music really loud in your car.
One of those really lovely people that likes to share our podcast.
Anyway, off all these tangents, let's get into the story. I've chosen this story because it is rugby league season. It is back. Just had the Vegas games over the weekend. NRL Fantasy's back, if anyone plays that.
How crap was that Super League game?
Yeah, absolute demolition job.
Oh, and then the fact you can give a try when someone's lying on their back, passing the ball.
Yeah, hey, we're not here to debate the rules. I may be the bunker, so I'm not even going to worry about the rules. And that fits perfectly with today's story. But I'm taking us back all the way to the inception of rugby league, because our story takes place in 1909. Rugby league in Australia became an official sport in 1908. But we have to go back slightly further. I've got to give you the history of rugby league, because that's very important of how this final in 1909 is played by only one team. So rugby league was born out of rugby union. Do you two know much about this story?
I know vaguely of it, but I don't know the specifics.
I know the Spark Notes.
The Spark Notes, yeah.
Story. Like I could do a 60-second spiel on it.
Yeah, it's a bit more, I don't know, maybe legit or less interesting to the other word than the inception of rugby union, where the story goes they were playing soccer, football, and he picked up the ball and just started running with it, and then people tackled him and they went, hey, let's make this a sport. But rugby league came from rugby union in 1995 in Northern England. Rugby union was a working class competition at the time, so a bit different to how we see it now, where it's the private schools and a little bit more hoity-toity. But it was strictly an amateur league. So that meant players weren't compensated for their time off work, no insurance for their injuries. They had to sometimes pay for their own jerseys and their own travel and their own accommodation for going on tours and other games. And the game was making money. It was very sustainable, but the players weren't seeing any of that because it was strictly amateur.
Right. This is back when it was conceived.
Yeah, this is rugby union.
Oh.
This was rugby union in 1995. And rugby union only became an official 1895, sorry. But
I was going to say.
No, but rugby union only became an official professional sport in the 1990s.
Because it was amateur until then.
It was
like
considered
a pretty
amateur until
unsustainable
then.
business model.
Yeah, maybe that's why they're having a fair bit of troubles now with attendances and crowd and stuff. But hey, not the Brumbies.
Yeah, it was a good game.
3 for 3 this season. So the players of rugby union raised these complaints to the Rugby Football Union, the RFU. And the response they got back was this.
FU.
Yeah, it was an FU. If men could not afford to play, then they shouldn't play at all. Doesn't sound very sustainable.
It sounds like us talking about our football, Rego.
Yeah. Oh, if you can't afford, then don't
Too
do
bad.
it.
No games for you.
So from that, the northern teams decided to break off and create their own league that they would compensate players for. So they made a couple of tweaks to the game. They cut it from 15 players to 13. They added a play the ball, which is in all rugby league now, instead of the ruck or maul that you see in rugby union. They also got rid of a lot of the scrums and the line-outs. So the game moved quicker, it was a bit faster, and spectators could enjoy it more, because at the time, obviously no TVs, no video replays. People sitting could be up to 100 metres away, couldn't see the ball for minutes on end when it's pick and go, pick and go, pick and go. And so rugby league provided a better atmosphere for the fans, a better experience for the players because they were being compensated. And so it really started to take off in Northern England.
So I guess skill set's pretty similar. Like nowadays it's less similar, but as the game's evolving,
Yeah.
you're developing that skill set.
Yeah, like I was under the understanding that the rules sort of changed later on, but they were existing from inception.
Yeah,
The
from the
differences.
get-go, they had to differentiate themselves from rugby union.
Right.
And so it gradually evolved to be even more. These are just sort of the baseline. We're gonna add a play the ball. We're not going to do as many scrums, and we're going to get rid of the line out. And so union in Australia, it was still managed by the RFU, as it was in New Zealand as well at the time. And so in Australia, it was only New South Wales and Queensland that really played. AFL was, still huge in the country, and it was actually starting to creep up into the northern areas. Predominantly working class players, the same as the UK, and again, enforced amateurism onto the players of Australia and New Zealand. So this push, this need, the requirement of amateurism was beginning to push some players to turn to Aussie rules, the VFL, Australian football. But despite the players not being too happy with the conditions, in 1906 there was a wave of popularity in rugby union in Australia, and that was down to the internationalism of the sport. People, and you can still see it today in rugby union, people crave international competition. You want to watch a sport and you want to see the best of the best. 1907 was another big year for rugby union. They had an unprecedented 52,000 spectators at a single match, which, hey, rugby union would be killing to have crowds like that at the moment. But then after this, 1907, that's when everything changes. So in 1907, a new code is beginning to take shape. It's already been happening in the north of England about 12 years before. But in Australia, some businessmen hear of it and they can see the disgruntledness of the players and they think, let's take advantage of this. So I'll throw a couple names at you. See if you recognise them. Victor Trumper. That name ring a bell at all?
Nope.
Ever been to the SCG?
Yeah, I have a few times.
There's a stand named after him.
Is there?
Yes, Victor Trumper was the OG, great Australian cricketer in the early 1900s.
Bit before my time.
Sounds
a little
like
bit before your time, yeah.
what you'd do if you won a race back in that day or something, like a victory trumpet.
Yeah, where's the Victor Trumper? So he was a cricketer. JJ,
McCarthy.
don't bring him up. Oh, JJ what? No. JJ Giltinan. Does that name ring a bell at all?
No.
Less well known. He was an
okay.
Australian entrepreneur, but he's credited with starting rugby league in Australia. And so in the National Rugby League competition now, if you win the minor premiership, you win the JJ Giltinan Shield. So last year the Raiders won that shield. That's who it's named after.
I didn't know that. I knew the Raiders won, but I didn't know it was named after that guy.
Yeah, so there's a little bit of rugby league history for you.
So that was the minor premiers. Was that from inception? Was there a minor premiers or did they do finals?
They did have finals. They always had finals.
Yeah, okay.
I didn't write down exactly when it switched over to be named after him, but
But it was just
Probably
the
well,
minor
you
premiership
can only really get
shield.
things named after you die, typically.
yeah, normally the way to go. Be like coins and stuff. And then there was Henry Hoyle. Be very surprised if you heard of him. He was an Australian politician. And they heard what was happening up north and in New Zealand. And now there is a real story that I could go really deep into the inception of rugby league in Australia and all the backroom meetings they did in hotels and what happened here and abroad. There's a story of a guy in New Zealand, one of the early founders of it, rugby league, and he was banned from going to any games. So he had to scout players from his neighbour's apple tree, which was next to the ground.
It's a very 1905 sort of thing to do.
Yeah.
Kind of thing you'd have black and white, silent film with
Yeah.
music.
So New South Wales Rugby League, which was rugby league, it was just in New South Wales. That was the sport. So when you look around at all the old jerseys and stuff, I've got some behind me. It says New South Wales RL because that's all it was. There wasn't the Queensland League yet. There wasn't a Melbourne team. Very New South Wales central. They formed August 8th, 1907. And then a couple of days later, possibly one of the most pivotal moments in rugby league history happened. Herbert Henry Messenger defected from rugby union to rugby league. Have you heard of Herbert Henry Messenger?
Ironic, the message hasn't gotten to me.
What about from how he's known, his nickname, Dally Messenger.
Oh, okay.
Or perhaps, if I shorten it even more,
Dally M.
Dally M. Rugby league fans would know that.
Yeah, it's like you're the best
The
player
special
in the
medal.
league.
Yeah.
It's like the Alan Border for cricket.
Yeah, the Brownlow medal for AFL.
You're the best player in the league. You
Yeah.
get that award.
Mm-hmm.
And was that because he was the best rugby league player or because he was the best union player that left?
I'll tell you a little bit about him, because it's a bit of both. So, Herbert Henry Messenger, a.k.a. Dally Messenger, he was one of 8 children.
Sorry, where'd they get the Dally from?
I've got that here.
Okay.
I'll get to it in a second. He was one of 8 children growing up in Sydney.
I think there was a lot more than 8 children growing up in Sydney.
8 in his family.
Oh, okay.
It's crazy how big families were back in the day.
Messenger family didn't mess about.
Yeah, it's like wild now. Someone says, "Oh, I've got 3 siblings." You're like, whoa, there's 4 of you. That's pretty crazy.
It's like,
Now you think that'd be half.
Then you go like your grandparents, like, oh, some people's grandparents had 8 or 9 siblings each. You go, wow, you had a lot of like uncles and aunts.
Just don't do that these
Your
days.
kids had a lot of
Giving up.
Yeah, no.
No more kids.
Nope.
So he played everything. He was just a natural sportsman. This is in school days. This wasn't professionally, but he played Aussie rules. He did sailing and cricket. And the name comes from a little bit of fat shaming from his family. So growing up, Herbert had a little bit of a pot belly. You know, he's one of those kids with a little tubby round belly. And it looked like the Attorney General at the time, William Bede Dally, who also had a pot belly. But his was from years of drinking and smoking and, you know, being a wealthy man in the early 1900s in Australia. And so they nicknamed Herbert Dally. And that name stuck for him, and that was his moniker going through the rest of his life. Dally Messenger, and that's how I'll be referring to him.
That's like calling someone like Palmer or something as a nickname, just because of like Clive Palmer or something.
Yeah. Oh, you look a bit like him.
That's I don't know, so bizarre. But okay, fair enough.
That's how they did it. And he was an OG athlete. He was a teetotaler. You guys know what teetotaler is?
Aren't they just? I thought they were the ones that don't drink.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's right.
Is
Which
that all
is-
it is?
Yeah, pretty much. But it was, you know, so odd back then to be a man that didn't drink, that there was a whole name for it. It wasn't just, oh, you don't drink. You're a teetotaler. Victor Trumper was the same. But he also, Messenger, didn't smoke either.
Oh.
So, you know, top of the line, no drinking, no smoking. And he rarely ate before games either.
No anything.
No anything. Maybe
No
a bit
water.
of nerves.
No food. No ciggies.
And so in his early days, he represented New South Wales in rugby union and then the Wallabies for a brief period.
And then he said, no more rugby union as well.
One of the players he played for the Wallabies with, Paddy Moran, in his memoir, described him as rugby union's Bradman. Years after. Messenger was obviously before Bradman's time, so years later. Maybe overhyped, never seeing him play, but the best player in rugby league is named after him. So not going to argue too much with a comparison to the greatest cricketer that's ever lived.
Yeah, well, I know Bradman is like standard deviations above the next second best is like insane for like how good he was. So it's like complete dominance. Like even Gretzky wasn't as dominant as Bradman, and Gretzky is like called the great one in ice hockey. And he's got like the record for the fastest 1,000 goals in the career and second fastest from 1,000 to 2,000. Like,
Yeah.
he was pretty dominant.
So one of the big moments for rugby league in Australia was thanks to New Zealand when the All Golds toured. Do you
The
want to guess
All
who the All Golds are?
And this was rugby league, or was this union at the time?
You have a guess of who the All Golds are?
It's their AFL team.
Oh, well, I'm just thinking if it's like union, we also have like rivalries with the Springboks and the Argentinians.
Curling team.
Yep, Carlin's got it. It's the curling team. I'm throwing it back. No, it was New Zealand's Northern Union, which is what we know now as Rugby League. So they were a little bit ahead of Australia in it. There was the guy I was talking about up an apple tree. He'd helped. He was another businessman. He stole some players and turned them into the rugby union team. So it was George William Smith. He was an All Blacks player who was fed up with this amateurism, and he partnered with Baskerville, the entrepreneur who was up the apple tree scouting players. And Smith was an original. So an original is the first ever All Blacks tour outside of Australia. They won 34 out of 35 of their tour matches. They lost one game 3-0 to Wales.
Classic.
And that's where the classic, All Blacks mentality, winningness comes from.
All golds.
Yeah. But I think it's so crazy looking at all these old tours. They played 35 matches of an extremely physical sport.
How long, is the space of this tour?
It is months and months.
So then,
but even
it's not that crazy. It's just they're going to some boarding school sort of thing and playing
every Thursday.
Yeah.
But it's even more than that. It's probably at minimum 2 times a week they're playing. The Originals didn't play any Northern Union clubs because they had defected to their own sport now when the Originals was rugby union. And so then it was seen that, well, we'll make this new New Zealand team and they'll tour the All Golds, and they'll play this new sport. They'll go play the Northern Union teams. But before that, they toured Australia in 1907 after Messenger signed later in that year in September against New South Wales, but they were playing union rules still.
So they've gone off to play rugby league, but they're just being paid now to play union.
Yeah.
Except they probably not enough people for a full league that you might as well.
Yeah, well, because this was just sort of a tour, and we just have to have these players and sign them, but no one has learnt the rules yet. So this little tour in Australia is just going to be union. And people still flock to the games. The All Golds versus New South Wales sold out 20,000 people when they only expected 12,000 to show up.
That's pretty good.
Yeah. In the 3-match series, New Zealand won 2-1. And then on that tour, the All Golds took to England and Wales. Of the 35 games they played, they won 19, drew 6, and lost 10. But the real coup for Australian rugby here, Australian Rugby League, was Messenger, who played for New South Wales, played so well that he went on tour with the All Golds.
What?
Yeah.
He went over and played for the New Zealanders.
Yeah.
Traitor.
Well, he then came and played for the Kangaroos after. There wasn't an Australian Rugby League team. So this was the only international rugby league that you could play.
He's a known defector.
Yeah.
Doing it twice.
Yeah. And he played...
The only
he was
Australian guy to play for the All Black equivalent. I guess it's a different sport because they're rugby league at that
And now
point.
there's been a lot of people that come and go and swap
Why
around.
aren't
Rugby
the
League
Warriors
internationals?
the best team in the NRL then?
Because rugby union is still king in New Zealand. And
But then back then, they had this.
yeah, but the Warriors didn't exist until nearly 100 years later. And think, rugby union, you've got 5 teams in New Zealand and 4 in Australia. So half of your away games, you're still in your own country.
So we're on
Every
this,
single
reverse
away game
journeys.
for New Zealand is coming to Australia.
Unless you play for an Australian team.
So the Australian Rugby League, which was the New South Wales Rugby League, I'm just going to call it Rugby League, or if I slip into NRL, that'll happen. Which I sort of find funny. It's like, oh yeah, I'm playing, I don't know if people say it at school, can't say, oh yeah, let's play NRL. It's like, well, NRL's not a sport. NRL is the organising body of the competition.
I have had
let's play AFL. The sport isn't AFL. The sport is Australian rules football.
I've had kids that have said yeah, let's play NRL. And I'm like, do you mean NRL or just rugby? And they're like, but they actually mean NRL. It's like, I want to be Nathan Cleary. And it's just like, oh, okay.
All right, boom, shoulder
NRL.
in the head.
I'd say you got footy, league, union, and football. And if you just use those 4 terms, everyone will know what you're talking about.
Yeah, it's difficult though. I don't know.
That was pretty easy.
No, but people say football and then no one knows.
Yeah, because it's AFL is Australian football.
Yeah,
So
well, they use their
you
hands
shorten
a
it
lot.
to footy, and
Yeah, it's footy. That's footy.
Yeah, but then because it's footy and that's so ingrained, I would say footy is footy. But
Yeah.
because footy is footy, they go football and then they think that's also footy, but it's not.
depends what region you're in. Like in New South Wales, put the footy on means NRL.
But I think as well, getting rid of the bounce in the AFL, it's no longer AFL. They should all just quit and give up.
I don't know if it changes the sport that much. The look of the thing's a bit doesn't seem the same. I'd like if they did a ceremonial bounce as the first one at the start of every game, and then because I can understand why they got rid of the bounce.
Why did they?
because it was
Just more random and uncontrolled.
yeah,
Put
and
a
bounce, and then they've got a rebounce and it slows
Put
down
a
the
cannon
play. And
in the center and just shoot the ball up.
so rugby league officially began as a competition on the 20th of April 1908. It was an Easter Monday doubleheader at the Agricultural Showground in Sydney, and there was 9 teams that they had. So I'll tell you the teams and tell me if you've heard of any of these teams. I definitely think some of them you would have. Eastern Suburbs. Do you know who they are?
The Roosters.
Yes. Eastern
oh,
Suburbs are now the Sydney Roosters. South Sydney.
Rabbitohs.
Bing, tick.
So we get to
Toes.
guess. Okay.
Balmain Tigers. Or, sorry, they went.
The Tigers.
Balmain.
Oh, that'd be the West Tigers.
Half of the West Tigers. Do you know who the other half of the West Tigers was?
West Balmain.
The East Tigers.
Sort of. Western Suburbs. Who were then Western Suburbs, Magpies, and Balmain Tigers. They merged to create the West Tigers in 1999. North Sydney.
They were the Bears.
Yep, North Sydney then became North Sydney Bears, and they were excluded from the top tier in 1999, and then they played New South Wales Cup at the lower levels, and they've recently been allowed back into the National Rugby League, but as the Perth Bears. So they'll join the competition in 2027.
It's strange.
Yeah, mate, force them to go to Perth.
Yeah.
Better than Papua New Guinea, though.
Newtown.
The Jets.
Yes, Newtown Jets. They played in the competition all the way up to 1983 when they were suspended, and they now play in the second tier of the rugby league competition. Glebe.
Your guess, Colin.
Yeah.
I've got the last two. It's your turn.
What's left? Like, what are the I don't know.
They're not all
The
teams.
Sharks.
No, Glebe was expelled in 1928 and now plays semi-professional rugby league at a lower level tier in New South Wales. But this was after 87 years of non-existence. So they were expelled from New South Wales Rugby League, didn't exist, and then popped back up. Cumberland. The Sausages.
The Sausages.
Not really, but Cumberland
I'm
Sausages.
going to say they're I don't know. I couldn't tell you.
Manly
Eels.
Sea Eagles.
No, they are no one. They were disbanded after this first season. They only played one season and then they were out. They were done.
Did they win?
Screw
No,
Cumberland.
no, they did not.
Did they lose very badly?
Yeah, pretty badly. And then Newcastle.
Also lost pretty badly.
They did.
Wow.
The Knights.
You'd
They-
think
they-
that.
They probably weren't the Knights.
You would think
the
that, but-
Canterbury Bulldogs.
No, they only played 2 seasons and then moved to just a local regional competition, not New South Wales. I mean, obviously it was still in New South Wales, Newcastle, but not the top tier. And they are no relation to the Newcastle Knights. So in the first season, Souths defeated Easts 14-12 in the first ever grand final. And at the time, the league was a bit strapped for cash, and so they favoured teams that could have people come in the door and buy tickets to have their home games.
Yeah, well, you'd be strapped for cash if you have to start suddenly paying players.
Yeah. Yeah, it was like, I guess Union had it right, not paying anyone, and we can take all the money ourselves. This is crazy.
It's like Amazon.
Yeah. So the 2 teams that
Oh,
were
wait.
favoured...
The podcast is on Amazon. Oh, no, Amazon's great. Amazon's fantastic.
So the 2 teams that were favoured the most in the early season was South Sydney and Eastern Sydney, because they played at Agricultural Ground and the SCG, so the 2 grounds right next to each other that could draw the biggest crowds. And so they played pretty much all of their games, even the away ones, at home. So already these 2 teams are favoured in the league. And there's a pretty big argument that Eastern Suburbs, the Sydney Roosters, are still pretty favoured in the league.
Who did Dilly Dally M play for?
He played for Eastern Suburbs. So they didn't win a premiership until 1911, and then they won 12-13, and then had a pretty good run there. So he still won multiple premierships.
He didn't win the inaugural.
No, he didn't. And
They
then
lose to win.
well, that takes us out of the inaugural season into 1909. So before the 1909 season, they banded together the first ever Kangaroos team, which was the International Australian Rugby League team, or Northern Union, as the sport was. So they went to England to play against the Northern Union teams. They lost 22 of the 45 games that they played.
Yeah, so how many did they draw? Or did they win the rest?
I didn't see the rest of it, but the way it was written was they lost 22 games, so I don't imagine they won the rest of them.
We lost less than half.
Yeah, but that wasn't the problem. The problem was, like you alluded to before, they're paying people. They don't have any money anymore. They've taken 30 guys to the other side of the world in 1909 and spent all this money to travel around England, and now they don't have any more money. So they had to get the Northern Union teams to pay for their passage back to Australia.
And here we are in Vegas now.
So because of this, Trumper, Giltinan and Hoyle were all dumped from the board for financial mismanagement of the league. And at this time, the league, after only 1 year of existence, was on its knees already financially.
Wow.
Yeah. So the moral of the story is don't pay athletes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Amateurs and rugby unions at this time looking at him go, yeah, we told you. We told you.
They're laughing.
The
All
players
the way
are
to the
probably
bank.
going, I made money.
Yeah.
If they're good enough, they can probably go back to union.
Yeah. And if that was the case and rugby union was laughing at him, that wasn't going to last much longer. So, the start of the 1909 season, Northern Sydney board member Alexander Knox, he took over as one of the board members of the New South Wales Rugby League, and then Edward William O'Sullivan became president of the board. And to help get money, he required the clubs to pay all gate funds to the league. So every single person that comes through that buys their ticket for sixpence or whatever it was back then, all of that money had to go straight to the league. And then they would distribute that
So they can only
back
make
to
money
everyone
from
else.
like entertainment stuff.
Yeah. And then that money would then come back to them after. So it's an equitable league for everyone.
Right.
Unless you're the eastern suburbs or the South Sydney and you get more people coming to your games, now you're suddenly funding
Yeah.
the smaller teams to be
Yeah.
doing it.
But your advantage of that is all of your games are played at home.
Yeah, and also then your businesses around the place, like if it's your stadium, get the most money.
So at this time, as well as East and Souths, Balmain was one of the most profitable teams. Their fans were called the Balmainiacs, which I think is a pretty great like fan group name. As they go.
Yeah.
I can't think of a better one.
Yeah.
For Balmain.
I can think of worse ones.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, go on.
The Balmeanies.
Yeah. Balmain Man.
The Balmanics.
Mm.
It's not good as Balmaniacs.
The Bal Movements.
Yeah, you go with the other, the balls, the ballasts, the ball and chain. You're right, these are a lot worse. It makes Balmaniacs seem like pretty good. So because Balmain was one of the only profitable teams, they, like South and East, were able to play almost all of their games at home. So it was great for them. And so because of that, they then shot up the table. Souths finished as minor premiers and Balmain finished in second place. And I'll tell you now how the final system worked then, because that's very important because I want to get your feelings on how this story ended and was a team
They
right or
flip
wrong.
a coin to decide who goes through the semis.
What they do is they play the semis and stuff. It was 1v4, 2v3. So Souths won their game. Balmain won their game. But the finals, so 1v2. Souths won, Balmain 2. If Balmain won the final, they would then have to play a second final, and Balmain would need to beat Souths again.
Because it's like a lower bracket thing? Or?
Yeah, but in the first final, if Souths won, they would win the competition outright.
Right.
So it's like a
seeding
bonus
thing.
as a bonus for coming first, you only had to win one game.
No, it'd be nice for the Raiders since we got robbed against the Broncos last year. If then they were forced to pay the refs off for a second game.
Yeah.
Well, it wasn't the refs.
Well, the Raiders
it-
got a second chance, and then they were terrible against the Sharks. So
Yeah, well, no, it wasn't. I won't blame the refs. I'll blame the NRL for going, hey, the most profitable player in the league, we want him to play more so we can bring more money into the game. So to keeping the integrity.
And so before I get to the actual final series, I just need a little bit of Australian history for you, or a little bit of world history even. In 1909, England was in the midst of an arms race with Germany. This is pre-World War I. Europe's just having a pissing contest with each other.
So it went from a thumb war to an arm race
Yeah.
And then NRL came after that.
as a result.
Yeah.
Arm races were like Then they started passing the ball
Like,
around.
whoa, look what we can do with them. And so because of that, England was like, I don't know exactly if England said, hey, Australia, we still pretty much own you. You're going to do this for us. Or if Australia was like, oh, Daddy England, we'll help you out. We love the monarchy. We love helping our
royal
owners.
owners.
Or whatever it was.
We love our royal family friends.
Yeah. At Royal Wild World of Sport. Regardless, the Sydney Mayor wanted to help. So he set up the Dreadnought Fund.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah. Which was
To buy a dreadnought?
Yeah, he wanted to buy a dreadnought because England was building dreadnoughts as, the greatest ship ever built.
Nice.
And so we went, well, we're going to help out the homeland and we'll get money to buy them too.
I'm just going to say, Dreadnought was not the best ship at the time.
No?
Everyone knows that Friendship was the best.
I think they forgot that bit for a couple more years, Ben.
Yeah.
Yep.
Hate
so
to
that's
tell
what,
you.
that's what I'm saying. I'm fixing history.
Yeah.
Ship is the greatest gift. Nirvana, the
Even-
band, the show reference for anyone that
Even
knows it.
Even companionship is pretty. We're like mimetic creatures. We need to tell stories.
Or it could
That's
even
what
be
we're
about
doing right
any
here.
We're not good being
relationship.
alone.
No. That's why we have, three guys here telling stories about wild sports
That's
stories.
why we.
And I haven't said very much about wild sport in a little while. But I'm about to change that. I'm about to get to that. Because this is sort of pretty wild. Because you always think, like, why don't they get the Wallabies and the Kangaroos to play a match against each other? Let's see which sport's the best. As a way to raise funds for the Dreadnought Fund, O'Sullivan, the president of the Rugby League, said, well, let's organise some charity matches against the Wallabies. And they went, oh, yeah, cool. That'd be a great idea. So they organised a 3-match series.
Even though they play different sports.
Yeah, it was a 3-match series that would occur at the end of the regular
And they
Rugby
play
League
AFL.
season.
I think that's the only fair way to
Yeah,
do
they
it.
have to do a completely different sport.
Or they play 3 different sports. Like they play one game is rugby union, one game rugby
it's like
league,
triathlon
and
or
then
something.
or like they play football and
That's pretty
cricket
unfair
and
for
badminton.
the union players because the league players played union
Yeah, well, they played rugby union rules
the whole the whole
for this
time.
series, which is fair because all the rugby league players already played
Right.
union.
And they
So
get
for the
paid.
first part, they had skis on, but they played rugby union rules. I'm getting it now.
Yeah, you're pretty much there. So this series would occur at the end of the regular season. But this is where it gets a bit interesting. And the caption of this little section I have is called The Wallaby Poach. Where Rugby League has already told you about Messenger. They poached him from Rugby Union. Rugby League, despite their financial difficulties, they knew the only way that this sport could survive was by getting the biggest names from Rugby League into their sport.
Poaching some
to
eggs.
Sorry?
Union to league or league to union?
Union to league.
Yeah, so the Kangaroos wanted all the Wallaby players.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
So the Wallaby Poach was set up by some other names that rugby league fans might know. I'll see if you two know it. Henry Flegg, better known as Jersey Flegg.
That's what a jersey's named after.
No, Jersey Flegg Shield is the under-21s New South Wales competition.
There you go.
And he was an Australian selector, and his brother Bill Flegg, who doesn't have a competition named after him, saw an opportunity to grow the rugby league ranks. So they pledged £500, which, going back that far, it's roughly 100 times inflation.
So
So 500 times
Fif-
100.
50,000.
Yeah, £50,000
maths.
they pledged at the time
To the players or to the Dreadnought Fund?
to getting the rugby union players to defect to rugby league.
So that's like a signing bonus.
Modern day
Yeah, well, that's
slavery.
going to be their pay.
Oh,
Buying
Play the
people.
professional sport. And so they talked to Samuel
L. Jackson.
George Ball,
I was close.
better known as SG Ball. Does that name ring a bell at all for rugby league?
Super good ball.
No, SG Ball is the under-19s New South Wales
Oh, of
competition.
course.
I think I know what the next one's going to be.
The under-17s?
I was going to go under
Juniors?
18s, but
Under-18s. No,
Under
I
12s.
don't have any other competitions. That's where all the competition rankings ends. And SG Ball approached English businessman James Joynerton Smith.
James. It's John James. What's it? John James Jingleheimer Schmidt.
John Michael Jingle. Yeah, close to.
I don't know what it is.
I didn't even get the reference.
His name
Look
is
it up.
my name too. That's about all I know.
Yeah, I just know.
John Jacob Jingleheimer Schmidt. Something like that.
Yeah, I just know the name. I don't know what it's referenced to. But JJ Smith, he agreed to supply 1,800 pounds. So that's
18,000 pounds.
times 100, 180,000.
Didn't you say they did 5,000 before? Or was
They're
it
500 before.
Oh, okay. So he's tripled it.
Yeah. Well, because
Oh,
he's a
okay.
businessman. These are two guys like.
So
Oh,
I
we'll
just
do it.
I just assumed he was paying less because he lives in England. Sorry.
No. He's the big man that's funding all this, and so that's roughly together what they funded: the 2,300 pounds, 230,000 pounds, which AUD today is about 436,000. So that's like a mid-level player salary for a season these days, but still, for the time, quite a lot of money that they were putting forward for this sort of thing. And so they poached 11 rugby union players, not just rugby union players, Wallabies players, the best in Australia. And so those 11 players were paid a year's wage of £100, which is roughly 19,000 today.
Wow.
Pretty good at the time.
Yeah.
Early 19s.
They also got Chris McViat. He was given £200 because he was so good. AJ McCabe and Paddy McHugh were £150 each. So a little bit more for these guys because they were the premier players of the Wallabies.
What was
at the
the
time.
average annual salary in Australia at that time to then go? Because if you're
How
playing
much research
union-
have you done?
I
No,
didn't look up the average
no,
annual
I'm just
salary
thinking
in
if you're
Australia
playing-
in 1909.
No, I'm just thinking if you're playing this sport as an amateur and it's barely covering your costs for your actual career, to then go, is £100 a year, are you we'd say a mid-level player in the league getting $400,000 today? It's well above the average salary in Australia, so they're doing a lot better than
The
everyone else.
average salary is apparently 110 to 130 pounds.
So a reasonable salary.
So they're getting a decent
They're
enough
getting
salary. Some of
average
them might
wage.
be getting a little below. Some of them are getting more
Yeah.
than
I'm
average.
guessing-
I reckon
doesn't-
they'd still be working on the side.
Yeah, it
but
doesn't take up all your time.
yeah, and then so they'd be earning more than other people and playing a sport that they love as well.
Yeah, so what would it be for? I know the average salary in Australia just crossed $100,000.
No one told me that.
No,
Jeez.
well, it's everyone's salary.
yeah,
so
yeah.
you-
I know how averages work.
No, I know, but they usually some equate. For
I know
like
my
taking,
salary is average.
average salary.
It's not about the size of your salary, it's what you do with it. Like if you invested it into Bitcoin in 2014, it'd be a great way to use your salary. Wouldn't have to work much more. Anyway,
Unless you forgot the code and you spent years and years trying to find the flash drive, like that guy who had
Here's
millions
the
on it.
Bitcoin.
Yeah.
well, there's a guy on
Yeah.
Instagram that advertises he can get your Bitcoin back for you, but he takes 50% of it, which is pretty steep. But considering your other option is 0%,
Yeah. He claims he can get it.
Yeah.
yeah, well, he does. Like, I mean, the only way he's getting paid is when he gets your Bitcoin and he takes half of it and then gives you the other half.
What if he says, "Oh, I could never get it," and then he takes all of it?
Yeah. What are you gonna do if you can't get it or find it?
Good point.
Yeah. Seems like a scam. Seems like a MLM style, except it's just
Hey,
one
what
level.
is the other level? That's just a
Hey,
a
I
level
stole half your
marketing.
Bitcoin. Do you want me to teach you how to do it so you can steal someone else's Bitcoin?
He's starting offering courses
Yeah,
to
it's
Yeah.
my course for
steal
one. You have to
Bitcoin.
give me 50% of your Bitcoin to.
I'll teach
have
you my
this course.
Bitcoin marketing secrets.
So after hearing this about this poach, O'Sullivan, the president of Rugby League, he resigned in disgust. He wanted this to be a great, lovely, joyous series between the Kangaroos and the Wallabies to help raise money for the Dreadnoughts.
And instead, it was, hey, let's.
Let's poach all
come
these
join
players.
us.
Yeah,
What's the word that I was looking for? Not sinister, but
underhand.
no, it was like. I'll think of it. I'll blurt it out when I remember.
We'll come back to you. Yeah,
just blurt
20
it out.
minutes later. And Knox vented his frustration, Alexander Knox, and he was removed from the board. The Wallabies ended up winning the series, the 3 matches, 2-1.
The players that they're poaching, one.
Yeah.
Nice.
And 37,000 people came to the matches across the 3, which was unable to cover the cost of setting up the series. So this series that's set up to fund buying boats literally made negative money.
Damn.
And so because of that, they scheduled a fourth game. It was like, well,
Like this time we'll do it better.
yeah, we've already lost money. Let's
Fourth time's the
sink
charm.
a little bit more in. And so the fourth,
Antithetical.
and so this series had been, that was the blurting it out.
Yeah.
Hey. Okay.
Yeah. I said I've bled it when I remember.
Yeah. So this fourth, the 3-match series was scheduled to be after the NRL or the Rugby League regular season, but before finals. So finals was scheduled, and then they put in the fourth game. So they thought, oh, well, we need more people to come to this fourth game. How do we make it bigger? Let's make it as the main event to the Premiership Final and have the Premiership game be a curtain raiser to the event. Sort of like if you imagine...
They're like, oh, we'll just add another game. They won't notice.
Yeah, like if UFC, you've got the big championship title fight. And then before that is all the other, yeah, we'll get more people in. It's just, more offer more and we can make more money. But Balmain wasn't too happy with this.
Were they losing some of their players to then play the charity match afterwards?
No.
No, so because I imagine if it's the best league players,
Yeah.
and then you play in the league, it's like State of Origin for us. Your team's going to lose their best players who are Origin eligible.
Well, I don't have all the team
okay.
list and who did that, but it didn't, in all my ratings, it didn't come up that was one of their gripes with it. Their gripes with it were the Premiership was to be kicked off at 2 p.m, so players would have to take time off work to take the day off so they get to the ground early and warm up and then play the game. They were also disgruntled because they didn't want the Premiership to be underpinned by another game. This is the main event. This is their grand final. Why is some random fourth game of Kangaroos and Wallabies being given more importance than our game?
I can agree with the second point, but the first one, we don't want to leave work. You're literally getting paid to play rugby league.
Yeah.
You can miss one day, or you can miss one day of your second job to then come and represent your team that you also get paid for. So even if you go, oh, well, I don't get paid as much. Well, then why are you doing it? The union players aren't getting paid at all, and then they can go, hey, I can't actually play this final because I need to provide for my 8 kids. But league, hey, this is my second job, so I don't have to leave work early on my second job. Or chuck a sickie for my second job.
I mean, I don't think that was the main gripe, but it's just also, well, we don't like it for this reason and this reason. And also, while we're at it, this reason as well. Because another one, they didn't like that it was just a money-making scheme for JJ Smith. Because it was, I got to try and make my money back for all I've sunk in to try and poach all these players to boost rugby league. They didn't want to be used as pawns in this. So 2 days before the match, the Balmain board decided that they would not play this game and they would protest.
Super League.
Super League. And they allegedly, I say allegedly because it was so long ago, there's no documented reports of this, but there's a lot of speculation and comments of idle talk and handshake agreements that Souths would also not play this match. And both teams had an agreement that we'll protest this, neither of us will turn up, and then they'll have to reschedule the game, and we won't be a precursor to this farce of a match that they're putting on after us.
Let's protest this charity match to raise money for a war effort.
Then meanwhile, one team's like, oh, hey, we're actually going to do it.
Well, that allegedly could be what happened. And that could be a pretty funny way to mess with another team. It's like, oh, yeah, sure, we won't turn up. Wink.
I would definitely do that to Bell West.
Yeah, scum. So the morning of the final, September 18, 1908, some of the Balmain players were at the ground early picketing.
Okay, I'm going to stop you there. Weren't they at work?
Again, I said this was a secondary argument for them. Maybe these players had taken the day off work so that they could do this.
Okay.
The principle of the thing is they didn't want to do it, not because, I don't want to take a day off work. It's I don't want to be part of this farce, this money-making scheme where you're just stealing players and have all my hard work just forgotten about. Because think about this. If they've got to take off work to come and play, How many people are taking off work to come and watch them in the premier event of the season, the Premiership Final?
Yeah, it's a fair point.
Mm.
But then how many people are going to be watching them pick it?
Well, anyone that's coming to the ground will see them out there. So hopefully that dissuades them from coming in.
But also, like, the poaching is to grow your own game. It's like, hey, we're not playing because an investor has brought $450,000 into our game. We don't want to play for more money coming into our game.
Well, there could be an explanation for this coming in
Okay.
the back end of this. But I'll talk about the final. So
In the
the
back
Sportsman
end.
paper had a quote of what the Balmain players were doing. Balmain had run like a pack of kids with letters to the dallies and used other efforts to prevent the crowd from rolling up to the fixture. Nothing but disgust is expressed for their despicable behaviour.
Letters to Dally. They sent messengers to Dally.
So at 2 p.m. at Agricultural Showground, South Sydney ran out onto the field with the referee there and a crowd in attendance and lined up to kick off against no one because Balmain
Dogs.
didn't show up.
Or rabbits, rather.
And so the referee blew the whistle. South Sydney kicked off, regathered the ball, scored. The referee blew a try and then blew full time, and Souths were awarded the premiership.
Okay, so a few logistic questions here. Balmain wins in the fact that they didn't play the game because the game wasn't really played. But then
How do they win, Balmain?
by going, hey, it's a fast one actually competing in this. So then it's, okay, well, instead of it being an 80-minute game, it's now a 10-second game. And it's like it's a joke of a thing anyway, so it doesn't really matter.
Well, South Sydney Rabbitohs, as part of their history, because they are South Sydney, they've got a list of premierships. Do you know which one they list?
If they list this,
They list 1909 as a
that's-
premiership.
that's
They
a-
did the double. They did 1908,
it's a
1909.
joke. When they come play, are they playing in Canberra this year?
South Sydney?
Yeah, I know they were here last year.
Might be.
All right. Okay, we'll add Latrell eating too many pies. We always do that chant, but we'll call them
it's-
scumbag cheats.
It's kind of ironic. Although, actually, is there a year of there is a year of the tiger, is there? No, there's a year of the tiger in Vietnam, I think, or something. Like, there's a different one. But it's like, there's like a story of like why there's no like year of the cat. And it's because like, anyway, like it's like a kid's story thing.
There's a
like
great
in
song,
Japan
Year
and
of the
stuff.
Cat.
But yeah, it's like because like the a mouse or something tricks him into falling asleep or something and coming the next day.
Classic
But it's
Tom
like-
and Jerry.
Yeah, classic.
That's why
behaviour.
Balmain didn't show up.
Yeah.
My other logistics question is, if this game was scheduled at 2, did they just wait 2 hours before playing the Wallabies
Well,
match?
I've got the answer for that. So after that, Souths were awarded the premiership. Yay! Woo!
They just were fine with that.
Well, Souths are like, hey, we won. The referee handed in his match report and said, well, the other team didn't show up. There was talk of an agreement, but there was never any official, both teams handing in something saying, we're not playing this game.
Did Balmain put something in saying?
Balmain said a couple of days before, we are not playing this game.
Okay.
There were no Balmain fans at the stadium that rioted or anything.
No, because they didn't think their team was playing. They thought they had an agreement with South Sydney. But South Sydney then played a scratch game, so a sort of muck-up game against an assortment of other rugby league players that were there, which makes you think that South Sydney always plan to play this game. So whether they duped Balmain or
Yeah, it does.
Balmain-
It sounds totally rigged.
or Balmain just said, whatever, we're going to stand on our laurels and we're not going to play this game no matter what you do.
How many titles do the Rabbitohs have? Do you know?
Like something like 21. It's something
Okay, so it's
ridiculous.
not
20.
like they only have
'Cause
3
this one
and it's
doesn't
like
count.
1/3
Yeah.
of the... Okay.
Yeah, it's not like you're taking their only title or something like that. You know, sort of like Melbourne Storm. It's like, oh no, you took those couple premierships from us. We've still got all the ones before that and all the ones after. It's like, settle
Or
down.
Man City when they get there, go to -5 on points after the...
It's almost like,
The
what's
ruling.
9 plus 10? 21? But it's not. It's 20 in this instance. It's not 19.
It's close.
But it's not 21 Rabbitohs
No.
because you don't get this one.
And
Doesn't
that
count.
I don't know if that's the right number. We'll have to check that. If it is, good job me.
If there's any players left who played for the Rabbitohs in 1909, you should be ashamed of yourselves for that. No, but probably a bunch of them probably went to war.
Oh.
Realistically. Like, so you should be ashamed of yourself specifically for that. But then if you did fight for our country,
Thank you for your
Thank you
service.
for your service, and we are forever grateful for your sacrifice.
So despite the weather of the day because it was a bit rainy and dreary. And despite the fast that was the first Premiership game, the Kangaroos and Wallabies played their game. The Kangaroos won 8-6, so they tied the series 2-2. And the crowd was big enough to cover the expenses of the effort. So JJ Smith still walked away, break even.
Even though they didn't have a grand final.
And is now paid 1 year for rugby league players.
Yeah, and now has all these rugby league players.
It kind of sounds
So
like...
it wasn't to raise money for... Oh, no, the person who was trying to do it to raise money for the ship left.
It sounds a bit biased because they didn't have the grand final, but then they ended up having another show match and then effectively in place of the grand final, another show match.
Yeah.
So they just played extra show match. He's got his money back. It's all rigged. They gave, like... Were the Rabbitohs like the premiers, though?
Yeah, they were the minor premiers.
Okay,
Yeah,
so I guess it's like not super rigged. It's kind of just a little bit rigged.
So I'll get to the aftermath now. One of the arguments that people say for why Balmain isn't really that stitched up is because I explained earlier how the final series worked, that Balmain would need to beat South Sydney in this game and then play another game and beat them twice, which is unrealistic considering Souths beat them once in the league season and Souths only lost one game in the season. And the New South Wales Rugby League put up such a fight about rescheduling this one game that they weren't going to do it. There was no way they were going to reschedule two. So even if Balmain won this game, well, that's the only game South Sydney premiers anyway, because you didn't beat them twice. We don't know, because it never happened. We don't know if that would actually be the case or not. So I guess we'll never know if the league would have scheduled another one. So Balmain then threatened legal action over the farce of the final and not being allowed to play. And the Balmainiacs held multiple meetings. And our friend Alexander Knox from before, he became a champion for Balmain's cause, saying that he'd always had a soft spot for the club and he thought they were wronged. But then there was reports that claim Knox had told Balmain before the final to forfeit the game to prevent the league making enough money from the final, from these Wallabies tour and everything, so that the league would then have an administrative turnover.
Is
like
it
had
also
at the start
like
of this season?
They didn't have to pay Balmain either because they didn't play, right?
Yeah.
So that's even more savings.
Yeah.
But I guess they paid the show players, maybe.
Yeah, there's a whole stuff with money, and the league is still in like dire straits with money. And
Money for nothing.
That's
so
what I
then
was thinking too.
Knox thought when they
There's
don't
that song.
play, the league would have no money, so then they go bankrupt again. They'd need new people to own it, and Knox would come in with his club, North Sydney and Balmain, and they would be the teams that are leading the league instead of East and Souths. And so with the way the final structure was set, Balmain felt that they had more to gain by bankrupting to the league and then being the new team in charge than playing the one game, winning, and then the league saying, well, you still don't really win the premiership. This is, again, reported allegedly of how it happened. I'm giving you sort of multiple reasons for this event, but because it's so long ago and such a big farce, there's no conclusive evidence that
I guess different people did it
any
for
of these are
different
right or
reasons
wrong.
too.
Yeah. But what I do know is the legal proceedings then stalled heading into 1910. And at the first meeting of the New South Wales Rugby League season, Knox was banned from the league for life. So they clearly didn't like him stirring up trouble and trying to do what he did. The opening round of the 1910 season...
1984 league.
Yeah. The opening round of the 1910 season was a rematch of Balmain and Souths at Balmain's home ground to appease some of the Balmainiacs who felt wronged. It was the highest crowd for a club match so far, outside of a final in New South Wales Rugby League, which was 5,000. Who do you think won the game?
Balmain.
No, it's going to be the Souths that won it. It was a draw.
Souths won,
Yeah.
13-5. It's a whole another season, all new players, all this thing, but it really does put to bed a little bit Balmain's claims that they were really wronged of it because, well, then they lost the next time.
It was the next year, and you go, you're the only team playing in the final, and then
You've got
the people
money.
sponsoring the league are going, hey, the team that showed up and played the game, yeah, let's give them extra benefits and give them more money, let them have better players, fund that. Or the team that tried to make a farce and get us all fired, yeah, let's not help them out. So the Rabbitohs at the time, Nepo babies. The Roosters at the moment, Nepo babies.
Yep. And as of today, 2026, Balmain still claims that they had an agreement with South Sydney to not play the game, and they still dispute that South Sydney were the premiership winners in 1909. But what do we think? Should this premiership stand?
Are they still like major rivals,
So
or do they just not really care anymore?
it's a bit tricky because it's been so long and the league has evolved and changed so much, and Balmain as a club technically doesn't exist anymore. They merged with Western Suburbs Magpies. They became the West Tigers. So if you've ever seen a West Tigers jersey and they've got a little magpie on their shoulder, that's a nod to Western Suburbs. So it's still the club and they still have that history, but it's not really the same.
I guess because the Tigers have been dog doo-doo for so long.
They have won a premiership though. So that's something, 2005. But there is a reference to this story in Rugby League Legends 2, the PC and PlayStation 2 video game. In the commentary, when you set up South Sydney and West Tigers to play, the commentary talks about this incident. There's a lot of bad blood between these two teams, dating back to this time when they didn't show up and they had an agreement and blah, 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 which I think is pretty cool. They had that little Easter egg in the video game.
Yeah, that is pretty cool.
We should play
Yeah.
on the YouTube.
On Patreon.
Oh.
Let us know. But the next time, Souths and Balmain they've only played each other once in a premiership final. They've met twice. Souths won the first one for a forfeit. The second time they played in 1969, Balmain defeated South Sydney 11-12 to take out the premiership. The only time they've ever played in a grand final, Balmain won. The last premiership that Balmain Tigers ever won.
In 1969, did they still have you have to win 2 games?
No, it's just the one now.
Just the one?
Played at the SCG in front of over 50,000 people.
I think it's kind of fair though, because if like the Souths won like the minor premiership, then it's like, like and you're changing around how many games people play to win it as well. It's like, well, just give it to the guys who won the minor premiership.
But in terms of Australian sport, my investigative journalism didn't take me as far as to check every national sport in every country. But at least in Australia, I can definitively tell you that this is the only incident of a grand final that was won because a team didn't show up. There's never been any other forfeit in top-level professional sport in Australia to decide the grand final winner. And as far as I could see with my limited research, in the world. That is the story of the 1909 grand final, South Sydney versus no one. And they won the game within 10 seconds, scoring the only points of the match after regathering the kickoff.
What would have happened if they then, the kick was too long, went out of bounds, and then it's Balmain's ball at the 50 for a penalty? They just have to wait there till second half, but then they have to receive the kick. So they just stuck idling.
Could have been. Well, because I don't know how they did the toss. If, we'll win the toss and then kick off and then gather the ball again. Oh, we lost the toss. We didn't lose at 21 though, so we have to wait for them to make a decision.
So they didn't even follow the procedures and the rules, hypothetically.
Hypothetically, yeah.
So realistically, if one team doesn't show up, you shouldn't be kicking off and playing anywhere.
Yeah. Strange time. This was only the second ever premiership final, and it's never ever happened again. So let's see where it ranks on our Wild and Mild board when we come back from a short break. Welcome back to Wild World of Sport podcast. If you're on YouTube, I'm waving at you now. If you're on Spotify or anywhere else, 5-star review, write us a nice little comment in the episode, letting us know what you think of it.
Give us more legal advice.
Yes, please.
We need it. We don't have any lawyers.
But this is the part of the show, if this is your first time joining, where we rank the story that we just told or heard, if you weren't the storyteller, on our scientific. I don't think we mentioned it was scientific last week. Wild and Mild.
Well.
Yeah.
Patent pending.
Wild and Mild ranking board. Sponsored
to
by
all my friends. Wild to Mild scientific ranking board.
Yes. Who's come with some... I mean, if I was ranking to all my friends...
I would rank it as wild, but you can also have it be mild if you so choose.
Well, I was thinking it depends on the atmosphere you want to have. Like sometimes it's wild, and other times it's nice just to have a mild time where you're enjoying nice beers with some friends and not getting too rowdy.
There's lots of lovely places in the venue. There's bar seating. There's outdoor seating at the back and at the front. You can change the vibe. It could be a mild or wild vibe.
Yeah. And if you want to watch sport, they got a nice projector screen showing you all the sport.
A TV at the back
trivia
as well.
Weekly. They also have like open mic nights.
Pretty wild to me.
Happy hour specials, always worth a look.
Best wings in Bell Conant, if not all of Canberra.
Yeah. Well, let's see if this story is the wildest that we've told. Ben kicked us off last week talking about it. So I told the story, so I won't.
Kicked us off?
Yeah. Carlin, tell me what you think of this story. I've written it on the board as the 1909 NRL Grand Final. Let's just throw it out that it was the New South Wales Rugby League, but it was too much space on the little thing. So it's NRL Grand Final on the board here.
Yeah. Like, I mean, if we're going curling as rules from last week's episode, like straight up, I'm kind of thinking it's like, oh yeah, like struggling foundation, like a league, you know, doesn't go so well and they just give the minor premiers the premiership.
Yeah.
One season. Like, it doesn't sound too crazy, all things considered, with like the trying to poaching of players in the middle of a grand final too. But all of that being said, it's pretty wild. But
I mean, it's only ever happened once in, I can guarantee, Australian sport, let alone all sport at the top level around the world. And I will admit, there's a whole lot of story that at the start, maybe I went too far with all the history lesson of it, but it was important to know the context of why they were protesting it. You had to go back to know the Wallabies. Why were they playing this game? Why were they poaching players? Why? And it just took me all the way back to the start.
Because they named the Kangaroos after the Wallabies. Was it just be like the bigger version?
Yeah, it's a little like,
I feel like the wild part to me, it's like, what is it? And I kind of feel, I don't know, maybe it's the corruption. But it's not even that corrupt. Like, it is corrupt, but it's like, what's there to be corrupt about? There's no, like, it's only been around for a little bit. So, like, is it corrupt when you just haven't really decided what's going on yet? That's why it has the vibe of, like, curling has rules sort of thing, where it's like, well, of course it's weird. We're still working this out. So that, like, in mind, I do think below Jamaican bobsled. But, I don't know. There's a lot of room there. That's where I'm starting in my head.
Ben?
Not to discount it's only ever happened once in Australian sport history to have a grand final like not played, but also I don't imagine how many other grand finals in Australian sport have been moved to be a precursor event for a charity event. And I guess as well at the time, like the NRL equivalent, the New South Wales Rugby League Association had. It was just whoever had enough money at the time to afford to pay players kind of set the rules and did what they want. I know that you said for the 2009 season they took all the gate fees in and did things. Did the clubs have a problem?
1909.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, sorry, 1909.
I think I've been saying but everywhere we're going back.
Do they have, do they say okay, we're not Balmain or the Toes?
The Toes?
Yeah, the Rabbitohs.
Oh, okay.
The Toes.
Yeah, they weren't. They were just South Sydney then. They didn't get these cool names and stuff.
Well, South Sydney. The other club's gone, hey, well, why don't we just have a normal final? We all give you all the money we earn.
Do you know what's funny, actually? The reason they showed up is because there's always at least one random Souths fan. So they just appeared and they're like, oh, yeah, I guess we'll take it.
We're here. It actually just went into the crowd like, oh my God, the Rabbitohs aren't here. It looked around like, hey, let's win the premiership for our team. We've all got the jersey. Let's go.
What is wild to me is the lack of integrity, I guess, to then go.
Well, the president of the board resigned because he was so disgraced by that.
That's why it's like,
then you have
it's not corruption.
Teams.
That's, I guess, a better way to put it. It's like lack of integrity because it's like, gosh, like it's meant to be a professional sport and then we're just changing around the games and...
But like, we say that, and yeah, I agree. The fact of the matter is, if this didn't happen, we probably wouldn't have rugby league now because it would have folded. All these players would have, come kicking their feet, dragging their toes back into rugby union, begging for a spot back, and
maybe
who
rugby
knows how
union
that would have ended
be
up. Yeah,
bigger now.
Could it have got professional earlier than it did? That's a pretty wild thing that rugby union wasn't considered professional until 1990s.
Yeah, but that's not what this story's about.
No.
But I'd say it's around Jamaican bobsled kind of time. I find it interesting that you're doing something amateurish, even if it's rugby league when you're getting a little bit of cash. They poached the best union players and paid them £100. I'm imagining the average salary of a Balmain player was not £100. Imagine it was probably 50 or so to then go, okay, I'm showing up and doing this second job and playing competitively in general. Like even just showing up and doing that for not much. You know, weird that Australian sport didn't have that investment. Rugby union didn't have that investment, but I think it's probably below the Jamaican bobsled team, but not by far.
Yeah, I won't hate that. If you guys said slightly above, because I think that's where it ranks. If you guys said above, I wouldn't fight it, but below, I'm not going to fight it. I wouldn't go too far below, I think.
Give it a space.
Yeah, give it a space and then put it
like
below or right there.
I was thinking right on it. I think it's close. It's just because both stories have the wacky investor wanting to get some sports thing done.
I do think there's obviously we're putting it below, so yeah.
And then
I think the Jamaican one just has a bit more charm to it.
I
think as well the Olympics is a organized event at the time. It's not like hey, we're making something new. Do you want to show up and do deer hunting and fire truck racing at the Olympics? It's hey, do you want to do this established sport at the Winter Olympics, which is an established competition? Just has that luster to it.
Yeah, I think when you break it down to just like the one sentence thing, first ever Jamaican bobsled team goes to the Olympics with 6 months training and the only grand final to be played by one team.
And they have to train in an entirely different country because
Yeah.
it'd be ridiculous for them to bobsled in their own country.
You had to get the military to do it because you had no volunteers.
And they qualified against 2 US Virgin Island teams.
I
That one,
was
I don't know.
They
It
had
is pretty
to
crazy.
borrow a bobsled.
That one
from
is
the
quite
Canadian
crazy.
team
I
to
think
be
maybe,
able to compete.
genuinely give it a space. There could be something in between the two.
And it also couldn't end up with anything between the two. As the season goes on, we're only still in the early days. This is, the 5th story. So we're about a quarter of the way through the season. Roughly there.
If we decide to extend the season out to have double finals based on how we like the stories, we'll see.
Yeah, well, you can let us know what you think of the season. And a few people have let us know what they're thinking of the show. Got a couple comments.
Am I throwing it at you?
Yeah, you can read them.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's true.
Yeah, we got a couple comments from people
Then
that
we
are
did get
loving the show.
Lawyer Steve, who gave us a wonderful lawyer advice, and I would love some more lawyer advice, Steve. Thank you very much. And we have Nick Mullen on TikTok, who says, check out Hearts on Fire by Hammerfall. They have a music video with a curling team. Did you watch some of it, Ben? James showed me a little bit.
No,
of
I haven't seen any of it.
It's
pretty funny.
Cool.
It's a good watch.
It's a good song too.
It's a good song. I mean, it's not my sort of music, but I still thoroughly enjoyed the song and the music video that went along with it. It's like women's curling team. It's like made curling even wilder.
And speaking of curling being wilder, Tick Boom, not on TikTok but on YouTube, says, I think I should take up curling when I stop laughing. Appreciate that.
That's the comments that keep us going. So you can be like Tick Boom or Nick or Lawyer Steve. Get in touch with us.
And pick up curling.
Yeah. Get in touch with us on YouTube, on Instagram, on TikTok. Send us a message. Leave a comment. Do whatever. Comment on Spotify. Comment on Apple. Do an Audible thing. I don't know what other.
Send us an email.
Yeah.
Or if you see,
if you can find my email.
Do we have our email up there?
Well, someone found my personal email, which I guess is linked to the show, and sent me an email. So you can find that if you can. Don't spam me, please.
And if you want to stalk Carlin, go for it.
Just in a parasocial friendship nature.
Yeah, not natural, like make him uncomfortable and
and
threatening
like,
safety.
I don't know, move the objects in my house ever so slightly, take strands of my hair. Not about that.
Like cut off like a centimeter off all your chairs in your place. So you
Give
feel
them
like you're getting taller.
ideas. Give them ideas.
No, wasn't that in a children's book or something?
A German's children's tale, perhaps.
Yeah, very
there was one
serious,
where
scary one.
They like were adding things to the furniture or taking like bits off the furniture to convince their like family they were growing too big and then they were going to die of being like trapped in their own house.
I know.
That's
I don't know the
horrific.
story. Children's
What
story,
to do
you
to
say.
like schizophrenic people? Oh,
How to prank you for your on the spectrum of friends.
oh man.
Anyway, that's a way to leave it. Let us know in all the comments where you think this story ranks, if we got it wrong, if we got it right. I've been James Wybrow, the bunker for today's episode. Took a long time and maybe got a lot of it wrong.
I'm James' brother Ben, no relation.
I'm Carly S. This is taking you a long time. Dally M.
Yes.
Didn't think it was that bad, but thanks, guys.
But
really striking the
but
confidence.
Wouldn't it need to be like your nickname making fun of your body, followed by a letter?
Do I have one of those? What do you call me?
Which politician?
Straggly
Which
S.
politician do you look like?
Ooh, that's a good one.
Paulie
to comment.
S. Pauline Hanson.
Yeah, I don't know enough politicians to.
Like, especially Australian politicians.
I thought Carly was good because it's like Dally, Carly.
Yeah,
and
I like
Carly
it.
is like a nickname I got from my grandma because I'm cute and adorable and petite,
Oh, absolutely.
which is exactly it.
Okay, sorry. Say it again and I'll pretend I get it.
Okay. And I have been Carly S.
Oh, nice. Like Dally M.
Yes, exactly. This is the blue for now, right?
Yeah. All right. Thanks for listening.
Bye.
Bye.
What? The NRL being unethical? That's ridiculous.
Well, the players can be silly, and I guess the NRL.
You
itself,
telling
but the
me that
commentators-
peeing in your own mouth is
that's
silly?
that's ethical. It's like vegan.
Yeah. Oh, there's a lot of stuff that they've done over the years.
Lots of other vegan health activities. Bear Grylls drinks his own pee, and we respect him.
Look at him.
He
yeah.
didn't. He did it.
He
in
never
an
got clowned for it.
He did it in an official survival circumstance.
He was really thirsty in that bathroom.